Hi, this is Lori Lines, Level 3 QHHT practitioner in Georgetown, Texas. Welcome to my channel. I chose to share this session with you because of the abundance of information available while we have a magical conversation with what they call themselves in this episode, a collective of Christ consciousness benevolent beings. I just loved how the collective of beings pretty much just takes over this session before I was even able to get through the induction piece. We get to not only speak with this collective of benevolent beings, we also speak with Azariah, the divine feminine, and to my surprise, a message came through from Dolores Cannon. There are many topics touched on in this audio, some of which are transmuting food for ascension, sugar, diabetes, weight, new earth, blocks built from religious upbringing, and more that we can all learn from. Thank you so much, Haylie, and this Christ consciousness benevolent collective, Azariah, the divine feminine, and Dolores Cannon for showing up and for providing much-needed information for all who hear this recording and resonate.
Now.
I'm going to ask, now that I turned the recording on, can you please repeat, who am I speaking with?
We are a group that's here to speak to you about the future.
Okay. What would you like to share about the future?
First, we want to calm down this being. She is not comfortable with this knowledge.
Okay. Can you help her calm down, please?
Yes.
What needs to happen for her to calm down? How do you calm her down?
She needs to take breaths.
Okay.
She needs to be quiet inside.
Mm-hmm.
She needs to stop worrying. This is not an indication of anything she is doing wrong.
Please explain.
She's worried she's not doing the session right because she's not getting any pictures of lives.
Mm-hmm.
That's better.
So may I ask, you say you're a collective of beings that want to take her to the future. Is she safe?
Yes.
Okay. What can you tell us about you?
We are a benevolent collection of Christ consciousness that is here to help usher in a new way of life.
Okay.
She has been having a difficult time allowing us, and so we are very pleased she's here with you today because you are much less resistant to allowing us to come through. She is going to have a hard time if she can't take a step back and just quiet her mind enough to allow us to speak.
Mm-hmm.
We would like her to go into a deeper state of relaxation and just allow us to come through. That's better.
Okay. So you said go ahead and ask questions. Is it important to ask the questions that she wrote down?
She knows the answer. She knows the answer to all of these questions. We've been telling her for so many days, and she keeps asking them. So we'll go through her list and say the answers so that she can have this information, and then we can speak.
Thank you. So I'll begin with her first question. Has she ever been to Earth before?
No.
Okay. What else can you tell us about that?
She knows what she needs to. She's special, and she doesn't like to know that she is because it feels like arrogance to her, so we won't go into much detail on this because she'll reject it. Okay. Because it won't feel comfortable for her to accept it.
Okay. Would she be able to accept it at another time in the
Yes,
future?
yes.
Thank you.
She just needs to step back and let this process unfold. It's in the making. We've told her we can't tell her the future on these things because they're unfolding as this happens. Mm-hmm. She wants to know what the future holds instead of just stepping into her power and creating it. And so she feels an impatience from us, and it's not intended as impatience. We just want her to understand that telling her what to do is not going to solve anything. It makes her follow a path that might not be the best. She has to create from her own viewpoint, vantage point. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She has a block. It's from childhood. She's scared of entities that aren't known to her from her religion. Mm-hmm. She has been fighting this for a very, very long time. We have tried to come to her in many ways gently, and she keeps just rejecting it and internalizing it. So this is what's linked to her weight gain. Mm-hmm. She's putting her body in harm's way, mm-hmm. rejecting us, mm-hmm. because the energy's needing to flow and she won't let it. Mm-hmm.
You're saying that her weight gain is connected to the block, or is part of the block?
Yes. Let's see if we can find the words to explain this.
Thank you.
She's like a transistor radio, and she is downloading information, and she is not communicating it out. So the energy, it's like, imagine electricity is flowing into a receiver but not being communicated out in words. The receiver is becoming overcharged, and it's creating more mass to hold that charge because it's not expressing it out, mm-hmm. in a physical vocalization.
Okay. An issue at this point right now?
Yes.
Thank you. So what is causing the weight gain? Can you bring it into her human
She
terms?
has a block. When she was young, we came to her in light and put into her mind knowledge about her power, and she's rejected it because of paradigms she lived in. And so in her brain, there's a blockage when we come to her that immediately defaults to categorizing us as harmful to her. And we have been partnering with her for many, many millennia, and she has agreed to have us here, but she has been systematically conditioned to see us as hurtful to her. And so we come through to her with love, and the block she has still sitting in her mind just won't allow her to receive us fully. So we would like to clear this now at this time, but she is going to have a physical response that we can't predict. So we just want to allow her to accept what her body does as she's releasing this. She will not be harmed, but it may feel intense.
Okay. So where does this originate from this lifetime or another lifetime?
Between,
okay. When was the very first time she experienced?
Before she was born.
Okay. Can you relate a scenario to her or talk, or...
You were in utero with your mother, and we came to you and made an agreement. Well, your physical body, of course your higher self was in agreement previous to this life, but your physical body had to be conditioned, and that's why you have light sensation when you were in utero, because we were there with you, forming you to accept this information. And somehow at that point you were in acceptance of us, but after that it became more difficult for you because of the sound, the voices. There were voices in the physical world that made it hard for you to accept us. But now we're here with you, and we will give you a sensation that will allow you to calm. It's okay.
What is she trying to understand through the weight gain and the block?
She's trying not to hear us.
Okay.
And by hear, we don't mean with sound, we mean with energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much knowledge for her. She's saying this with us. She is saying this through us. Mm-hmm. We are saying this through her.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This isn't too much knowledge, you just have to resonate differently. She knows we gave her a house for her to be safe in, and she's even trying to create a scenario where that doesn't feel safe for her. She's building up physical constructs to explain how to protect herself, when love can help her process all of this. She doesn't understand that love is a feeling. She wants it to be something she's seeing other people do.
Mm-hmm.
And we want her to know that we love her, and any time that the feeling of noise, you see, we say noise, but we mean energy, feels like noise to her. Anytime the noise feels loud, she can go within us, call, and we will put her in a space that is the safety. She doesn't need a house, although her house is delightful. She doesn't need a place at the table with everyone else that thinks they have the wisdom. She knows what we mean by this.
Okay.
She just needs to call us, and we will put her into the state that is love, and she will be able to speak, shine, resonate, flow, send out. We're using all the terms that might connect here.
Mm-hmm.
What we are transmitting through her. She doesn't have to say it, although sometimes this is helpful. But she does have to call and allow. And her concern is that it will feel like pain, that she'll feel everyone's pain when she flows love, and this may be part of it. We are assuring her that we will create around her a receptacle to process the excess information, noise, sound that comes back to her when she opens. That's what we mean by guard her with this vibrational cocoon.
Okay.
It's like a bubble, but it's different.
Okay. Thank you. So is she allowing now?
Yes.
Thank you. So the issue of weight that has been blocking communication and energy, does she understand this now? Has she learned all she needs to know about it?
Yes. We are taking care of it now for her.
So you can release and heal this from her now?
It's already been done. She's just has to allow it to manifest in this physical realm.
Okay.
She'll need some time because we've had to slow down her manifestation speed because she was creating problems, not being aware of her power. And yes, she's going to ask about her knees, so we'll address that now as it is appropriate.
Okay.
But yes, she manifested this from her discussion and feeling into the pain. And for learning as well, for her to learn today that we can heal We are working on her knees as we speak, and she knows we can heal. She's been healed before. We needed you to know this, Lori, today, that healing is possible.
Yes.
And that it is in the best interest of all to allow healing to come, not to hold on to any kind of pain, thinking that it's protection. It's better to release when we're ready. And you know what we mean. You'll allow this to come to you when it is opportune, when you are understanding that it's okay. The pain can't protect you, only love can.
Right.
So we are working on her knees now. She did bring this, but not because of her higher self harming herself. She was being provided an opportunity to witness her own manifestation speed. And she knows positive things she's manifested, but we allowed this one because every day since this happened, she's had to be present and aware that she caused this without willingly noticing and acknowledging that she did this. She's been having to acknowledge she had pain, and we wanted to have this as an opportunity to show her, and by we, this is us together, agreed that we would come through today and heal this on this occasion for her to have the experience after of it being healed, so that now when she doubts, when she starts to question, when she starts to need physical structures like her body changing or her home changing or other abilities she thinks she needs to create or amass, she can reflect that this moment is the everything and that we can heal this for her. And she did this for herself in her planning of her life path to know that she can experience love, healing whenever she needs it.
What caused her to injure her knees?
She fell. We're not sure exactly what you're asking, if you're asking the event that caused it or in her mind what caused it.
Well, can you answer both?
Well, she went down a little, we don't know what you call this, hillock. And she's saying, no, that's not what she would call it. And she fell on her knees by the pool.
Okay.
And injured them. She said we pushed her, but we don't push people. And no, we didn't. This was just her energy to happen to her. And she had put her mind in the place of this pain happening at this age for her in the near past. And that's what's important here, is she hasn't planned this from far in advance. She has many precognitive dreams, and we wanted her to have an opportunity to converse with us about something that she knew was within 24 hours. That's how fast this is happening now. You know that, Lori. You know this.
Yeah.
But everyone doesn't, and she's on the edge of accepting it, and we wanted her to have that 24-hour span very clear of cause and effect around this event happening. Now, what caused it in her mental blockages? Well, nothing. Her mind did exactly as it should be. Her mind is very healthy, and she doubts this a lot, especially since her visions have come through. And that's because the paradigms don't fit where she's at most of the time. See, she's disagreeing with her friend. Been a growth point for her. We'll say more perhaps later on that. But she's in disagreement with her friend in the fact that they spend most of their time in another paradigm. She thinks she's here more, and she used to be, but then it was different here too. Now she's gone most of the time. The dream space is long for her. She's starting to come back with the stories she asked about.
Okay. So is she feeling any physical sensations in her knees as you heal them?
She has. We have finished.
You finished. You're quick. You're quick today.
We've been waiting a while.
Apparently. So I'm curious, is there anything that she needs to do to maintain the healing that she's already had so far? What is she to do about, for example, what is the best way for her to eat for her body?
She feels really rude interrupting you, Lori, but someone's here that wants to tell a story.
Okay.
She doesn't want them to, so it might take a minute for us to calm her.
Okay. Can we go back to that question afterward?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Love to hear the story. If she's...
Azariah, she knows Azariah. Has been trying to talk to her for a while. She's finally calling on him some. We'll tell you a bit of the story. This is Azariah. I'll tell you a bit of the story. Lori, she received my name a few months ago in a meditation. And she denied it for a bit. She tried to look up Aziel and other angel names. Finally, I came through and made it clear it was Azariah. She Googled me, and I've come through previously to a madam that hypnotized others and communicated long bits of text through this being. She knows this, and she's questioning a bit that her conscious might be saying this story because she's aware. But what she doesn't know is I also came through a Jesuit during the time of Christ and channeled then as well. That's not relevant to this, but I wanted to assure her that that term Jesuit was not on her mind, and she's not making this story up. So, Lori, that's how she came by the name Azariah. We told her, and we've chosen to meet with her. I have chosen to meet with her. We, by her and I, previous to this incarnation, because I have experience intonating through the human being. But she wants to say difficult, but that's not the word. She's been intentionally denying me. But I'm okay with that because I have a great love for this being. Mm-hmm. And I've just wanted her to be at peace before we began.
Thank you. What's the purpose of you coming through, Azariah? I'm trying to understand.
We wanted you to know something, Lori.
Mm-hmm.
There's a story for you that you will have when it's time. And it's about your life mission.
Okay.
We want to say a bit more now. When you came here, you were not sure that you wanted to be in this space. But you chose to stay because there was an agreement made that if you did, you would not be required to return.
Return?
To this space.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're here to tell you that if you decide you want to come back later, that will be okay. It is up to you, and we wanted to communicate to you that more is coming for you later, but that you do have the autonomy and the power. You did choose to be here. You've done great work, and you're just beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That's all Azariah has to say now.
Thank you.
Other than to assure Haylie that he's here. And when it's time, Lori, it won't be yet because she still has some angst about her creating this story herself.
Mm-hmm.
But when she knows, we'll send her more signs. And when she has peace, then we'll continue with her as we pre-planned. Ordained is the word she's not wanting to say.
Why doesn't she want to use the word ordained?
She believes it's for a priest.
Okay.
That is it from Azariah.
Thank you.
We're ready for your questions now, Lori, and our apologies at his interruption. He has learned he has to be a bit forceful.
Mm-hmm.
Our humans won't hear him some.
Thank you.
And we refer to him as the him because Haylie's always recognized his energy as masculine.
Mm-hmm.
It's comfortable for her.
Right. Okay. So
we would like to recognize for Haylie that her body sensations have shifted in the different energy when Azariah left.
Mm-hmm.
She's returned to feeling differently, and we want her to note this so that she understands when we are here versus Azariah.
Okay.
Our apologies.
No worries. So what is the best way for her to maintain her body in this lifetime and to eat? What's the best way for her to eat?
She's doing fine with this.
Okay.
She actually isn't overeating anymore. She knew that when she wrote that question. Silliness.
Okay.
She's past that state very purposefully. And we are very, pride is not the word that we use, but it is a sense of just glorious celebration for her. That's a huge stage for her to pass. We would simply say to just allow herself to enjoy food, to let it be pleasure, not to make it a monster any longer. It's not. And to eat nourishing food, but she knows in the moment what she should eat. And rather than give her a diet plan, because as you know, Lori, she's receiving a lot of intuition in the moments, and sometimes she needs one thing. We're helping nutritionalize, mineralize her body in one way, so we'll tell her to consume one thing, and then later she'll need something different for a different task. It's partly about building the structure around her that carries the energy and the love. There are different nutrients she needs, and she's really villainized sugar, and she knows she eats sugar to shut down the feeling that she has, but we would say it's not really a villain. It can be transmuted into love energy, just like any other thing. Excess is not something we encourage. We understand and offer compassion for why she has experienced and brought that into her life at times, but she's moved beyond that. But sugar's not the villain, it's not the monster. What is the blocking of the energy flow from, we're communicating to her the words divine, above, but she's rejecting these, and in fact they're not accurately portraying. The energy is coming from within and without, and we're going to say dimension because she doesn't have a word that works. So she's blocking this dimensional energy to flow, as we've already described. And if she'll let that flow, the food issue will just intuitively be communicated.
So I'm curious, you mentioned sugar can be transmuted. How does one do that?
So first off, the white sugar is not the best kind.
Right.
She doesn't eat that, really. When the sugar is turned into platelets and light is infused in them, they are spun very thin, like you're blowing glass. And that turns into the vibration that is placed in it. This is not the process for all foods. She's blocking this heavily. We ask her to allow us to speak this. She thinks she's saying hocus pocus. So the sugar is transmuted and infused with light energy. And it's spun into light in an energetic sense. It's not necessarily going into her physical body when it's transmuted, but it becomes part of the energy that is overlapping in the same shared space as her physical body. And so it sends out a sweetness. That's what sweetness is for. When there's a lot of bitterness or pain or ache in your world, you seek sweetness because it does vibrate and carry through the sweetness energy. It can hold that modality and carry it through. And we are actually working some on her system as we speak to release some of her misunderstandings around what food does. Because food carries vibrational energy, and Lori, you're aware of this. Mm-hmm. And she's thinking that it goes into her physical body, and her physical body has to change it. But actually, the energy is distilled from it. We love that word. It's so accurate. The energy is distilled from the food and transmuted energetically in the systems of the body. So that the physical thing that you're looking at and seeing is also a representation of energy in this world. By this world, we mean this space-time. It's a representation of energy. And we're looking for if there's more that we should communicate. We're aware that others might listen to this particular segment of this discussion and they'll need more information. So we would just say that your intuition is a really essential guide to knowing what to eat. That's first important. Second, nothing in and of itself is evil or harmful, not even meat. That is why Jesus blessed the food. Haylie has been practicing this and it has made a huge difference, but she hasn't been aware of how much of a difference the blessing has made. The blessing is a conscious intention for the energy to be transmuted to nurturing, beneficial energy. Now, your body system breaks down this energy from the food energetically and transmits it as well. So that's a natural part of the body process, but the manifestation of food into something good for you is a new fun sphere that you're playing in. So yes, there's been some accuracy in the past around diets changing, because that's purely if you're functioning only in the physical realm and you're consuming food only in the physical realm. But as you've elevated yourself to a higher dimension and now you're in and out, you can actually turn the foods that you enjoy here into just energy that you're processing and you're distilling it. It's a natural characteristic of the food that you didn't previously have access to. So blessing the food, setting a positive intention, and when you consume it, consuming it in a way that honors yourself in the food can transmit it into the natural carrier of energy. So if you get a craving for fish, that might be because it's carrying something in it that can be transmuted into the particular light vibration that you're missing or that you're needing to nourish a part of your body. And you have access to transmit this very easily now if you're in the upper, we call it the upper because she knows that, but the new realm, the other dimension. If you're in that, then your access to changing these foods is a lot more elevated. So there may be some that do need a liquid diet, if that's, since there's a question there from you from that. There may be some that need a liquid diet or they need a more restricted diet around what they're eating as far as vegetarianism, these kinds of things. But for those who are in and out of the new earth more and they're manifesting more quickly, their blessing of the food is simply enough to carry the light energy and to allow the negative energies that might be present to dissuade. And she's not going to like this, but this goes for organic foods as well.
Okay, thank you. So can you speak to people that have diabetes? Where does sugar play a role in that? And whatever you could share would be appreciated, I'm sure.
Could you word that a bit differently? We'd like you to ask more about why diabetes happens.
Yeah, let's ask that. Thank you. Why does diabetes happen?
You know, it's about the balance of bitterness and sweet in the body.
Yes.
It's a new time now, and the old reasons for diabetes are fading out, and we're so grateful people are accepting this shift and change and acknowledging the evolution of these stories. Dolores is here, and she's very happy with your work, Lori.
Yes.
And she's happy that people are communicating the continued evolution of this work, because she's did so much work around these old stories, these stories that were the original ones, and now it's evolved, and she would never want those to be the stories that were continuing to be told without adding to it the new stepping stones. So, diabetes. When your body is in and out of the new earth, there is an imbalance created in sweet and bitter. Because you're in the sweetness, you come back and there's a lot of energy here that would be, we're saying bitter. You know, these aren't the exact energetic transmissions, but these are the words we must use.
Okay.
So it's a sense of lower vibration, if you will. And when we come back with, we as you come back with these higher vibrations of sweetness that you're accustomed to, your body has a difficult time reintegrating into what is this shifted lower vibration energy. So that can cause in you sometimes, apart from what you've eaten in your life. That's why there's such a serious onset of type 2 or late stage diabetes. That has to do with the fact that it's about shifting back and forth, not necessarily diet. We are not saying that this is not relevant, diet is not relevant for everyone, but more and more of you are experiencing these because of a clash between the time you spend out and the time you spend in. So when you have those really good days where it's not an issue, you don't feel any blood sugar fluctuations or the sensations that come along with that, then that's because you're out more into the other world, the higher, more elevated realm. And then you come back and the cravings come, or there's fluctuations, or there's difficulty. It's a sign. It should be taken as a sign to you that your body is just experiencing more of that bitter vibration energy of this realm, and there's an imbalance. Now, we would talk to you about how to navigate this happening. Bring back more love with you with intention. Allow yourself to be in the old world, but encased in the love you experienced previously. This is really where your souls are learning now, where your souls are being elevated. Your souls now are learning from the contrast, the friction between this world and the other, or the other. We are going back and forth with this in a confusing way. Let us find a term to designate, because we are in both and mostly in the above. So let's call it the above and the below for simplicity. Does that sound good?
Yes. Are you speaking to the old earth and the new earth?
Yes.
Thank you.
So let's call it the above earth and the below earth.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are in the above earth and you are experiencing these love and emotions, and you're feeling this amazing abundance of manifestation, and then you come back to the below earth, you are learning from this contrast. And that's where the souls that are the higher elevated souls, you know who we mean, and your audience as well. Mm-hmm. When those souls are going back and forth, the contrast is where they're learning. They are on the brink of Christ consciousness, the Jesus Christness of their being. They're actually bringing back more and more Christ light every time. And they have access to their own Christ consciousness. So the work here for them is to just come back, and when the conflicts happen, when the contrast happens, to bring that love. And see, many of them are questioning because they know they have a day or two or a dream or a space in which they feel really elevated and abundant and full of great gratitude and love. And then they come back to the earth below and they feel the conflict and they question, did I do this? Did I make this happen? And they agree to it for the contrast. So it's okay. It's okay to be back here. It's part of the journey that you've agreed to. So you just sit here. By sit, we mean be present in yourself. Mm-hmm. And you say, what did that feel like? Mm-hmm. When I was gone, what did it feel like? How amazing was that? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to allow it to be in me now with the conflict. And Haylie experienced one yesterday, just a very abrupt and unexpected conflict. And that was for us to be able today to speak on this, with her having the knowledge also of what we're speaking of. Laura, you had one recently too, 6 days ago, in which there was a conflict that you were unexpectedly thrown into. And it was something where you questioned why you were here. And we say to you that time isn't relevant, so don't think too much on that. Mm-hmm. She's trying to make us correct the time frame. She's like second guessing this, so we're calming her with that. Time isn't relevant. So you know that when you come back into this earth, you see these conflicts happen to you, and you question your own selves. And what it is an opportunity to love even that. Yes, we mean even that. Not to put your boundaries down, because we know light workers here have done a lot around having to protect themselves energetically, and we would never encourage you to put your boundaries down in a way that harms you. But what we are asking is that you, she's allowing,
Awesome.
What we're asking is that you would allow the love to flow to you in these circumstances when someone is really unexpected rude, and you would say, rather than turning judgment in on yourself and saying, oh, I brought this, I manifested this, you would say opportunity to bring Christ love. Mm-hmm. It's the last stake. It's the last opportunity, Lori. When we say last, again, time is not relevant, but because it's relative, but It's the last push of this age. Will the Christ light be allowed to come through or not? So it's very important that light workers know and allow rather than judging themselves when a conflict happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you manifest things, but if a conflict happens, don't in that moment begin to question, oh, did I manifest this? Oh, I'm evil. Oh, I created something bad. Oh, I've done this to myself. Instead, say Christ consciousness, my higher self, divine being. You'll choose the word that works for you. But you call in that higher part of yourself and you allow the love come through. And that's exactly what we've been describing in detail to Haylie to do earlier, when we said to her how to, instead of finding physical structures or contorting her body, to allow the love to be the protective mechanism, because the love is coming in with you and you can transmute everything that comes back to you with the love.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to use intention, and you have to stop defaulting to judging yourself.
Right.
It's the last frontier.
Thank you.
We're so grateful for you showing up here today, Lori. She has been blocking this message from coming through a long time. We told her to write it a long time ago, and now we're sharing it with you. So we hope you will take it and do it, spread it widely, as she will, but we hope that you will make this abundantly clear to others, because we've agreed that you are the right person.
Thank you so much. So, shall we move on to other questions?
Yes.
How do you want to proceed? Okay.
Yes, you are right.
So, what's the cause of her right side neck and shoulder pain? And can this be released today?
Let's see. She stabbed herself here. It was a past life.
Tell us more.
She was angry.
Mm-hmm.
She fell on her own blade, and it went up through her shoulder here.
Mm-hmm.
No, she wasn't Solomon, but it was something like this. She was very wise,
mm-hmm.
and was making decisions, and we're going to take her there now.
Okay. Can you relay the story, please, after you take her there?
We'll honor you, Lori, to ask your questions in this session. We've regressed her.
So,
you can ask her directly.
What we're trying to do is help her, help alleviate or release that neck and shoulder pain.
This is for fun. She wanted to have a regression, see something fun. So we are giving her a past life glimpse.
Mm-hmm.
And she's questioning this because she said that she was told at the beginning she wasn't given a past life.
Mm-hmm.
So we're saying for her to stop questioning.
Okay.
And to allow you to ask her the questions for what she sees.
Okay.
And all will be made clear.
I want to ask what she sees right now around her in this past life that caused her the shoulder pain.
Yes.
Speak to her directly. I'm
Yes.
sorry, I'll do that. So
Yes.
What do you see around you?
I don't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like a light's above me, so I'm just gonna let it come. It's really dark here. I feel like it's nighttime.
Okay. Is there anyone around you?
Yeah, people are crying. Oh my God, I went here before. I recognize it.
Tell me
It was
more.
the beginning of my first session, and I went here and I smell it. It's acrid. The air smells like smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like ash, like something's been burning. Flesh was burning. Oh, I killed them all.
You killed them all?
I made a really bad choice.
Why did you kill them all?
It was before this, like, some other time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just know I did. I'm just looking and I see, oh, they're crying. It's soldiers. Okay, I have to tell you everything. Okay. I see like it's really dark here, and I see some stars in the sky. I'm outside, and the ground has some burn patches, and that makes a little light, and I can see soldiers. They're in armor, their knees are out. They have breastplates. It's really old armor. It's not something I've seen. I'm thinking of David for the armor. So I guess it's like, I don't know where it's at, but it's old. And the sun's, I think it's about to come up. It's like right before dawn, because I get the sense that it's been all night and they're crying. It's really, it doesn't smell good. It's like burned flesh, and there's a lot of blood, and they're dead everywhere. They're just, and there's some still alive, and that's worse because they're really moaning. Okay. I have a leg injury. I can't walk. I'm leaning on my sword. The last ones died to save my life. Oh my God, the other soldiers died too. They're all dead. We just killed each other. We just killed each other. I'm not dead. I'm the last one. I mean, they're alive, but they're dying. You know, some of them are dying still, and most are dead. Okay. Everyone's just, they're mangled. We thought it was the right thing to do. We really did. Okay. But it wasn't. The sun's starting to come up, and it's so much blood, so I'm gonna fall on my sword now. Okay. I wish that I had died with them. It's the story of my ancestry. Okay. My grandfather on my mother's side. This is in her DNA. Someone did this. I don't know who. It feels like it's me, but it's them too. I don't know. I can't. All I know is I'm gonna fall on my sword now, and I see pink. The light's just coming up, and it's so. The sky is reflecting the blood on the ground. Okay. Now whatever's happened has already happened, and you're on the other side of it. And from that position, you can look back at your entire life and see it from a different perspective. Every life has a lesson and a purpose. As you look at the life, what did you learn from it? To be happy. To be happy with what you have. I was a child and I had blonde hair. And I was playing in a courtyard of stone. And I was really happy before they made me a soldier. That was enough. I didn't need to have anything more. Going through my life a little bit, I see that scene. After that scene in my life, I don't think it's just so much happiness there, and I don't think I was ever happy again. What do you think was the purpose of that lifetime? Gotta let go of the conflicts, because once you fight one, there was a conflict about a girl. Yeah, I see that. I killed someone, and I could never stop killing after that. It's about conflict. It's about picking your battles by just releasing. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's just, you can pick not to have the conflict. You know, you don't have to fall on every sword. I feel like I'm seeing that in my mind. It's like it's coming to me in information. But I'm seeing and I'm feeling like there's something in my life too now that I'm just fighting instead of just, I'm falling on the sword instead of just letting the conflict not be. Yeah. Thank you. So, shall we speak to the collective again? Yes. Okay. So, does she understand now the cause of this shoulder and neck issue? Yes, it's from her ancestral line, and she's transmuting it for them. And as you know, Lori, there's not an individual being. It's a collective oversoul, and she's part of that. So this is what she is transmuting into healing for her present life. Her grandfather's here with us too. He wanted her to know. Good.
So
He said she's doing good and stop trying to tell the boys what to do because they're not going to listen. He's going to take care of her.
So can you now release and heal this for her?
Oh, yes, we've done.
Oh, you've already done it?
Yes.
Okay. So it won't bother her anymore, will it?
Not unless she calls it back by reenacting the need to pick up the sword and fall on it rather than just relish the joy of her life.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
It's also been healed from her mother, and her mother's going to mention this to her unless she doesn't listen to her intuition and follow through.
Okay. So you mentioned inflammation. Does this have anything to do with that and the
No.
joint pain? Mm-hmm. So what's the cause of her inflammation? And
Give us a moment, we'll check.
I beg your pardon?
We're going to check that.
Thank you.
We're not finding any inflammation. It looks to us like she's convoluted inflammation with weight gain. They're kind of one and the same.
I see.
We've already worked on that.
Okay.
Her joints are another matter. It's about the transitioning. She already knows that. She's been telling other people that, but I think she just wanted confirmation for that.
Okay. So may I move on to other questions?
She recognized there's a shift in the energy. We wanted to acknowledge that there is a shift in the energy to her. We're bringing through some different beings. Then we're here presently to answer these next questions because we didn't have full information for what's to follow. So she can rest assured that there's been an addition of some beings, including some family members. So that's why the energy feels a bit more familiar to her.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, please do continue, Lori.
What is her past connection with Star?
She doesn't have any.
Okay.
In another life. She's from between lives. They're the same. She doesn't like what we're saying, but they're the same being.
Okay, tell me more about that.
They are part of the same oversoul. They came here together. They're separating now to go their separate life paths. We can't tell her what will happen in the future about this because it's still up to them to make it unfold.
Okay.
But their connection has been for both their highest good, and no one is victimizing anyone here.
Okay. So what's their purpose of the connection now, or what has been the purpose of the connection? In this
They were joining together to relight the spark of their energy. It's like two flint coming together in a way, making that spark. They're both needed to kind of be reawakened to their energy as they went forward in their next purpose.
Thank you.
Next pathways for themselves.
Okay.
So they sparked each other back to their paths. She's here to see you because of that spark. It was a motivating factor, although she wouldn't like to think it was, to be here. So.
Okay. What course of action is in her highest good to take next, if anything?
We're putting it in her mind for the appropriate time. She'll know what to do.
Okay.
We're done.
What is her connection to her current family?
She is so funny. She knows all this. They're the same oversoul. They're all the same oversoul. She's just going to have to send him love and stop pushing so hard.
Okay.
The rest are part of her soul family. They came here together. They agreed to. And they're all doing fine. Yes, some of them are choosing a path that looks to her like it's not perhaps the most healthy, but they're still in alignment with their soul contracts, and she's done her part. She's really done her part, Lori. She's right in that statement that she's done her part, and they're all on their paths. She's finished those contracts.
Okay. Thank you. What's important about Rachel and Katie in her life?
They're her future family. They're her family in the above. They're her family in the new earth. And they're not part of the same oversoul. They're actually a collective that is part of, they are part of other oversouls that have come together and create a triad they're not part of each other's oversoul either. They're three separate beings in the above that found themselves together there and agreed to meet here to help each other transition and carry burdens.
Okay.
Not really burdens, but walk something along that line. It's hard to find a word because your word, you say walking, and it's like the soul walking.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What happened, if anything, that night when she was very young and saw sparkles?
She wants to regress to that night, and so we'll give you permission to go into a regression and take her back to that night. We did come to her, but she we'll let you regress her there.
Okay, so
we're taking her, and you can ask her directly what she sees.
Yeah, let's go back there to that night when she was very young and saw the sparkles. Tell me when you're there.
I'm there.
Very good. So what's happening? What do you see?
Just really dark, and I see a lot of sparkles in the room. Oh, there are angels everywhere.
Okay.
Oh my God, the room is full of angels. They're me. Oh my God. They're blue light angels or so. I don't know, this like white blue light. It's so pretty. I'm not in the room. I'm with them. Oh my God. It feels so good.
Awesome.
I feel like it's weird because I feel it in my ovaries.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a burning sensation. Oh my God, something's warm in my body. It feels really different.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a sensation is like in me. Okay, I'm back now.
Okay.
That was really pretty.
Wonderful. So what was the purpose of that?
I have no idea. I do know they were... Okay, I'm getting something really weird. They say they were taking my ovaries or something weird. That just doesn't sound right.
Okay.
I'm kind of not wanting to hear the next part, I think.
Can we bring in...
Oh, they said they saved it. I'm not comfortable with this. I can't ask anymore. I feel like I'm making it up.
All right, we'll just... Can we bring in the collective energy again that knows about this?
I just want to breathe just one moment before they come back. It's kind of hard. Okay.
So what was the purpose of that visit? And what does she need to know about the ovaries and the angels?
It was a light infusion to her ovaries to keep her from being victimized by those who seek to harvest them. We encapsulate them in golden light, a literal gold substance, to protect them from being... So Laura, you'll understand this. They hold a particular energy pattern.
Yes.
That non-benevolent beings can pick up on with their devices to locate souls that they might want to... she's finally making sense of it. We're so happy. She knows she's never been visited by aliens, or we don't say reptilians. There's a different term we use. You wouldn't know as humans, so we'll call them aliens. She knew she had never been visited by non-benevolent aliens. And she never knew why, but she felt protected. It's because we shielded this radio frequency that would come off of her ovaries to prevent them from being able to locate her.
Okay.
So they weren't able to find her. She's been hidden. We've done this to all of her siblings that had a high vibration. That's why her sister had difficulty getting pregnant. And her other two sisters haven't had children. We're protecting them from being located. If she chooses to have a child on her path, we won't say, because we don't want to convince her she isn't in autonomous control. But if she chooses to have a child, then we will restore that capacity fully. So she needn't worry about the egg count. You know, this is a systemized way that is used to convince people they're beyond childbearing, or they're going to have unhealthy children, or something to that degree, which is not accurate at all. You can have a child at any age that is perfectly healthy. It's about whether the Christ consciousness is coming through you to permit that to happen, and you've agreed to it, and you've made it part of your contract. So it doesn't have to do with anything about ova, egg count, that kind of thing. And so they're perfectly healthy, and but that experience was us shielding her. She was beginning to come online very quickly, and we saw a very strong power. This is also when her father became very uncomfortable with her energy and her power, and we tried to protect her from that, and we did quite well, actually. So that's she feels that we did quite well in protecting her, but that's partly the resonance of power coming from that particular part of her was what made him feel uncomfortable as well. He is not part of the Oversoul, but he is not a non-benevolent being. He's just here to learn his own journey.
Okay. What's happening at night? Vibrations, visions, fractals?
Oh, we wanted to tell her one more thing about the angels, that they've been with her, protecting her from that time, and the blue light's important. She's had some channeling about blue energy and blue light's related. We wanted to point this out so if it comes up later to her mind. Okay. So we apologize. Lori, what is it?
She wanted to know what's happening at night, the vibrations, visions, fractals.
Let us see. We have to go check that. She's not having these anymore.
Okay. Shall I move to the next question?
We're checking. One moment.
Thank you.
This renegade. Oh, yes. Someone slipped through and attached to her there, but he's gone now.
Okay.
He's gone now. Yeah, she was good in sending him away. She sent him away. We see that. It was so long ago in our catalog of things that were important. It's so long ago. It's gone. That vibrational was the best way we can say it is a fracturing. Her energy slipped out, and another being had infiltrated and was actually sending through to her these visions to convince her that she could find her power in these other gods, perhaps, and would have used that to draw her energy out. But she shut that door, and she actually did that with her own Christ consciousness, her higher self. We weren't there when she shut that door, so she did that, but it's shut off now. We see it in the record, and it's done. It's gone, and we will deal with that particular entity for that. That is not permitted.
Thank you. What are her night waking state visions?
It's related to the previous, so.
Okay.
We would talk of her dreams, though.
So what's happening in the story in her precognitive dream?
Just as you explained it, Lori, just as you explained it, we would thank you for that clear articulation. It's just past, future, and parallel realities. And she's becoming more cognizant of them because of her heightened state of consciousness. That's all. Oh, we would like to tell her she is healing. She gets a lot of dreams where she's healing. And these are realities that are as real as her own. Rachel is correct about that. There are realities as real as her own reality. But what she does in this reality is very important for that. This isn't a lesser time. This isn't a lesser space. This isn't, although it may be the below world, it is still vitally important to continue the work here.
Has she ever been visited by aliens?
No, they would have if they could have found her, but they can't.
Got it.
She won't be now because we have other mechanisms of protection around her.
Okay, thank you.
Partly her own consciousness has created a field of protection.
Okay.
But we would say that it's important to call on your higher beings. It's important. People don't realize how much power they can add to their own energetic expression by calling in their angels and their higher beings. And she's comfortable with the term angel. Others may call divine higher self, divine protection, however the wording is. But that Christ consciousness, divine higher self source that comes from the above, it's important to call on that, because although you can energize your field around yourself, you are, let us think of a metaphor. You are essentially trying to row across an ocean rather than put the sail up. You can do a lot more if you just call on that extra support that's available, as if you're just raising your sail. You get across it quicker.
Thank you. Who is speaking when she channels?
We are.
Okay.
We're a collective group of beings. She's very familiar with this because she's listened to a few channelers. So we really can't say anything that's going to convince her of who we are. That's why we've done the healing today. That should be the symbol of our benevolence. Her greatest concern would like to recognize and honor is that we're not coming from Christ consciousness. And first, we want to deeply honor that she's always very, very careful and has a strong boundary around who she listens to. She's very intuitive about recognizing energetic sources that aren't from the healthy place. They may be bringing information, but it may not be for the highest good. So she's really clear about setting that intention. She listens to a lot of, you might need to hear this, Lori Paul Selig. We say might because there's other ways you can get the information that Paul has available that can come to you. And some of it you're listening to now. But she listens to him, and we would just affirm that that's good. This other one she listens to, not for you, Lori, so we won't mention his name, but she knows who it is. He's good, but he functions a little bit more in the earth below realm, and so she'll resonate with less and less of his material as time passes. But we just wanted to speak that it's important to make sure that if you don't resonate intuitively with what's coming through that you're hearing, to seek better sources of information. This is for everyone who might be exposed in the future to this knowledge, to this information we're sharing with you. We would have you be very careful to really see how the information resonates with your soul. So don't switch. If you're in your mind feeling really uncertain and questioning and maybe doubtful or depressed when you listen to something, don't convince yourself that that's for your highest good. You don't do this, Lori.
Absolutely. I don't do this.
You don't do this. But others do. They convince themselves, oh, I'm not in the right place. I need to move over to where this is. But we just want to reassure everyone that you're being the souls that made agreements to come here and be in present consciousness, and in the new earth, the above and the below at the same time. They have a very delicate intuition, and they get that gut instinct. They get that feeling when something's off, and we would encourage you to trust, everyone hearing this message, to trust that intuition, because it's very important. There'll be a lot of people. This is the verse that in the end times many will come in my name and say Christ is here, Christ is there, but the Christ isn't. So when the Christ consciousness, people claim they're channeling through a message that's from above in this new age movement, it needs to be something that you can take within and feel, and it feels love, generosity, goodness. These are words that don't necessarily transmute the feeling accurately, but you know it. You know it when you feel it.
Got it. What's the purpose of her channeling?
She was supposed to write a book, but she's not comfortable with that now, so you'll be doing the work that you need to, Lori, to collect that information from other sources. And she knows that we've not come the last few times that she opened herself to be available. She recognized that there was some difficulty because that task that we originally came to bring through has been shifted. Someone else agreed to take it on. You are part of that, Lori. But we will still be present with her, and as the next stages of her path unfolds, then we will provide her with information that's necessary. What we would say is she doesn't need to sit and channel us for the most part, because we are just coming through directly through her intuition. And so the channeling isn't really that necessary now since the book project has been moved on. What we would say is it's not any shame to her that she didn't want to do this. She just found something else more fitted.
Okay.
We consider that you are, and Dolores is here with us to tell you, she'd like you to be part of the new stages of her information being continued.
Okay.
And it will come about naturally.
Okay. Thank you.
You'll know then. Your guides will show you.
Okay.
They're wanting us not to say too much.
I got it. I understand. Why have some of her predictions been inaccurate?
They weren't.
Okay.
It was just the timing.
Okay.
It's strange when she wrote that question. She knows that they were all... Oh. Okay. Yeah, she's still in a different time. We didn't see this. Okay, some are still happening. Okay. Yes, it's the timing.
Okay. Why has love and relationships been difficult for her?
It's not. She just... We see her full of love in relationships. What does she mean?
Well, she explained that she keeps attracting men who won't choose her fully.
Yes.
And a story around unrequited or forbidden love.
She's got a lot of sadness in her heart right now. We would like her to go to a story and see it. Can you ask her to see like you do, Lori? We're going to take her to a place, leave her, and you can ask her.
Okay, so
that's going to tell her what she needs to do.
Thank you. So I'm going to ask you to allow a story to come up that you need to see, that the collective has asked you to go to.
I think I'm on a lily pad in a pond. It's ridiculous.
No
There's a
judgment.
frog.
What's happening? What do you see?
Am I a frog? Yes, I'm a frog. Okay, so there's a frog. He's got a crown on his head and he's leaping off a lily pad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a frog on a lily pad too. We're in a pond. That's all I see. They're green lily pads and it's water and it's like a scene from a cartoon.
Okay. So what happens next? You're both sitting on your...
A bird eats me. Oh my God.
Okay.
This is ridiculous. He's afraid. Well, I'm saying my prince in this life, but the soul. The soul that agreed to come here for me. Let me see. He's like crying. He's on a lily pad and he's like sad. I'm above him and I just want him to know I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still here. I'm going to meet you. I get that he doesn't know how to find me. Oh, I guess he didn't see that I got ate by the bird. He thinks I'm just gone. Oh, that is sad. He didn't know where I went.
Okay.
I don't know. Apparently we're frogs that mate for life. That's what I'm getting.
Okay.
He's just sad there. Oh, he dies of hunger. He starves himself. This is so weird. Why am I always an animal? Okay, well, that's what I'm getting. And I'm just hanging out above it, and the pond's even dying now, too. Oh, everything. Oh, my God. Oh, God, everything's dying. Oh, everything's so sad. Oh. Yeah, just the pond wilted and turned like scummy pink, and it's just the pond. The rest is okay, but just the pond died because I'm not there. It's weird.
So that sadness. May I speak to the collective again, please?
Yes.
So that sadness from the life that she was just shown, does she hold any residue of that sadness anywhere in her body?
Yes.
And where would that be?
Her heart.
Does she now understand what?
She needs to know she was both frogs.
Oh, okay.
So she has both the fear of losing and the fear of hurting. We want to explain to you, we gave this to her as an implanted memory. It's a metaphorical representation of the energy she's holding.
What's the purpose of that imprint?
Yeah, that's a great question, Lori. It's for her learning, but it's also been a shield to get her to this point.
Okay.
We're going to release it now, though. We'd like you to ask us to release it so she can tell the difference when we start and stop.
Okay. So you say it's in the heart.
Yes, and it's in her field around her.
Okay, so can you release that now?
Yes.
From her heart in the field around her?
Yes, we're doing that now.
Does she feel any sensations of it?
She feels it in her head.
Okay.
She feels it coming out of her too.
Okay, good.
Lori, it's done, but we're not finishing is not the word, but she'll experience the full release later tonight at home because she has to drive after.
I understand.
It's done. Please go ahead.
Okay. So once this is fully released, will she be able to attract a satisfying love?
He's been waiting.
Okay. Fantastic.
She needs to believe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and also when he comes, don't tell him he's too good to be true. Just accept.
Mm-hmm. What is her purpose at this juncture in her life?
Give us one moment to check.
Sure.
Exposure. She's to expose people to ideas. That's why she has the words.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she has the heart.
Mm-hmm.
It takes them both, throat and heart. She knows this. She just needs to hear it. So we want to tell her a bit about what this means, though.
Please.
As her path has unfolded, she has collected a lot of eclectic, she likes this word, knowledge. And there are stepping stones to lighting the spark within us. And within us, we say, within you, but us and you. So bringing together, how can we say this? There are many souls on the planet now who are awakening, as you know, Lori.
Right.
But they don't always recognize their higher self. And we mean this in a very real sense, not in some kind of metaphorical sense. But they don't know what the energy feels like. Mm-hmm. They can use different stepping stones to connect to that. So sometimes it's about crystals, and sometimes it's about essential oils, and sometimes it's about food. Yes, food is a portal. Delicious chocolate, ice cream, just like that we're saying that. But these senses can resonate energies. Mm-hmm. And these are something she's very aware of. She speaks with plants. She knows that plants have an energy that they share. She knows crystals bring things. She's been exposed to many ideas, as have you, Lori. And she has a capability of knowing the right stepping stone for a person to resonate and to resonate with, and to recognize their own higher self energy. Mm-hmm. And so part of her gift will be starting a shop in which she brings some of those stepping stones together, but also coaching, not in the traditional sense, but just in responding to emails and telling people, hey, I want to share this gift with you from the shop. Like, you purchase this, let me share this stone. She'll know what's right to help people, even when they don't. And she's doing this some already. She has been for a long time. That's why they called her the Crystal Girl one time. She knows what we mean. But it's not just about any one modality. That's why she's experienced so many. It's also not about her using her energy. She is right in having taken a step back from using her energy to heal, because it's just not what she... We don't want to say wrong. We don't want to say it's wrong for her. It's just not what she's chosen. Maybe that's the best word. If she chooses differently down the road, that's fine too. But right now, it's the space she's in right now, where she's resonating in this scenario. And we're speaking of the old earth Lori here, because she's asked about that. The old earth space is to bring through this shop, and we'll send the correct connections for her. And Lori, you're a part of that as well, for her to find the things that are important for that next step. So that is where she's manifested and agreed to for this. We're looking at it like she's standing on a stepping stone, right? And it's vibrating, because just one decision to do things different, she can change it into a different parallel space. But we are seeing in the records that she'll be here for a while, and this is her path with the shop. So her purpose is to lean into that and to bring the love through, as we've said many times about the love.
Beautiful. Thank you. Can you speak to what her next step might be to take to move forward in her life purpose?
We're putting it in her mind. We're putting in a download for later.
Okay.
It was already there. We're just putting the code in.
Okay.
We're using these terms like code.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
It's light work.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you want to say about it?
There's a word.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to give you the word, and you'll send it to her intuitively later when you communicate with her. Don't worry about it. You don't have to recognize it. But when she reads it, your communication later, it'll activate, like you always in the follow-ups. It's done.
Okay. What if I told you that you have the power to heal yourself, particularly physically, emotionally, and spiritually? Would you like to heal the past and brighten your now and your future using QHHT, a technique developed by Dolores Cannon? Hi, I'm Lori Lines. Visit my website to learn more about QHHT and book a session with me. I'm so looking forward to connecting with you as we discover together transcendence and healing for your highest good.